everybody. This is the S-NANO from Ant Design. We're going to be reviewing it and taking it apart. Please stick around. As I said, Ant Design is the manufacturer and designer of this slider, and they have their own website. I'll put a link in the description and I'll pin one in the comments. You can buy these now in stainless steel, zirconium, and titanium. Stainless steel was $60 shipped, and I think it took less than 2 weeks to get here from China, and I'm very happy with it. I'd have to say it's definitely worth it for the price alone. The quality here is pretty interesting, and upon first inspection, it's very impressive. I'm just curious about a few things, but we'll get into that when we tear it apart. I can definitely recommend this. My only thing I would advise against, and I think if some others have brought this up already too, I'm not the first to review this. It is a little sharp here and here, and if you're like me and you tend to regulate the speed when you're closing your slider by squeezing it with your fingers a little bit, then as they glide down through here, it may start to irritate the, especially like right in here, it may start to irritate you a little bit. But some basics about this one. It's a fully captured magnetic slider, so it won't fall apart on you. It slides both directions. It has 3 layers. There are magnets underneath this plate and this plate. The plates are removable. Now, you don't really need access to the magnets for any particular reason. It's done this way for them to make it easy to manufacture and assemble. Also, I think the main thing that they're trying to market maybe down the road would be interchangeable plates, different plates that you might be able to buy to put on. So that's something to think about too. The unique thing about this, it was a Kickstarter. It was like 8 months ago that this was announced, I think. I didn't get mine on a Kickstarter. I bought mine right from the website. Like I said, they're available now. What's unique about this one is you'll see large magnet, small magnet, in the edge of a large magnet. It repeats like that: large, small, large, small, large, small. The large ones are pointing with a polarity of pointing with a polarity in this direction, and the small ones have the polarity point in the opposite direction. So you could say it's a lot like the 01 EDC pod version 1. The middle magnets on these 2 outer plates have a reverse polarity, so you get a kind of a jump between segments there, and that, I think, it reduces friction. It gives you a quicker pop. It's an interesting idea. It's kind of a shame, I think, not to explore what this would have been like if it had made like a normal slider with all the magnets in the same polarity, because then you would have gotten 2 clicks on each side. So instead of a 2-click slider, you'd have a 4-click slider. I'd almost want to buy one of these and take it apart and set it up that way to see how it goes. And that's kind of the same thing I was kind of getting to here with this. Is I didn't pay real good attention to the videos. It's been about 8 months, and when I saw they were available now, I just went ahead and ordered one. I had the idea that maybe, I knew that it said that there were removable magnets. I thought maybe these could be interchangeable too, and that this could be kind of modular, but that's not the case. This is not a magnetic modular slider. Like I said, the only reason those plates come off is to make it easier to put the magnets in without any glue for manufacturing, and to possibly market different kind of plates. So that's about it. Comparison wise, let's do some comparisons. This is the CP3. I want to get this stuff out of the way ahead of time. We'll take it apart in a few minutes after we finish the basics. But just size wise, you can see for yourself there. I'm just gonna hold these next to each other and dispense with all the, it's this thick, it's this wide, it's this tall, because you could see just as well as I can. Now, I didn't say what that was. That was the Black Mirror space capsule. This is the 01 EDC. That's all it's called, the 01 EDC. Let's do a travel comparison on that. Now that's something worth bringing up, is that even though this slides both directions, I don't think you're going to find yourself doing a lot of reverse slides unless you have really big hands or long fingers. It's easy to go forwards and push it back, but it's not necessarily easy for me to get it, you know, to do that back. Now this is more of a proper size. It's also a little easier to push. Could have a lot to do with the tape I have on there, but it's more suited for going both directions without much effort. This, I think, because of its length, maybe if they did a future version of this, they might consider making it a little bit in the shorter direction, maybe a little bit wider. Do something a little different. Not that this isn't different enough. It's very different. But continuing with the comparisons, we held this one up and talked about it, but I don't know if I showed you the difference in dimensions. And lastly, I have this thing. It's similar in a sense. It's 3 levels, partly captured, or it can be partly captured. In other words, this top part can be made so that it won't fall off. The bottom part can't, though. So this one's meant to go 4 clicks out and then pivot. But, you know, again, that doesn't quite compare with this. This looks like a monster compared to this, and this one's big. So that's that. Now let's talk about dimensions. It is 24 wide, 12 thick, and 48 tall. Weight, again, mine is stainless steel. I'll lay it on its side so the magnets don't affect the weight of the scale so much. Looks like 89 grams. So that's it for the review portion. I think I recommend this without a doubt. I'm not going to score it on a 1 to 10 or anything like that. Definitely for $60. In under 2 weeks, you too can be the proud owner of an S-NANO from Ant Design. I'm not advertising for them, but I think it's nice. Definitely worth the price. So from this point, we're going to go into disassembly and inspection mode. If you made it this far, I hope you stick around. If not, I hope you got enough information you need to go buy one. And there will be some more details coming up, so stick around if you can. Okay, to take this thing apart, the first thing you want to do is just slide it open. You'll see a flathead screw here, another one here. Let's assume that we want to take off the front plate here, the S-NANO, for whatever reason. Using like I said, a flat tip screwdriver. This one's an 1/8. The next size up was a little too thick. The blade was actually a little too thick for the groove that's in the screw. A reminder that removing the screw makes this plate come off, so you're going to want to keep a little bit of pressure on these. While you're doing this, let's go ahead and take out that screw. This was a little tight the first time. I noticed you'll see possibly there's a little bit of red Loctite residue on here. That's fine. I'll leave it there. Dried Loctite actually will rebind and tighten, keep doing its job. So you don't necessarily need to add more. If it comes loose later, I'll add more later. But we're down to this point. Now, I watched Sean's video over on the fidget fix. I got to tell you, I got cheated a little bit. And it was tricky to figure out otherwise. Now, I've gotten rid of, let me put this down for a moment, remembering that this part can come loose now. The screw's not in there. Okay. Here is one of the little rubbery, super thin pieces that used to lay inside. There's one on each side. And when I first did what I'm about to show you, no matter what, both sides, it happened to me on both sides, the magnets just went nuts, and this got all crumpled up and locked up in the magnets, and you have to pull it all apart. And I could put it back in there if I wanted to. It's a little bit deformed and stretched. The other one doesn't look much better. I'm not going to reuse them. Like Sean said, he didn't notice any difference with or without them. So the first time you do this, the chances are the magnets are going to pop out on you. So the first time you do it, you're probably going to have trouble. But after those rubber things are out, this is it. Again, just to recap, we've taken the screw out. We're in the open position. We're keeping everything together because this backside can pop off. It's not going to spring off or anything. So gravity will hold it down at this point. You can use a pointy object, I should have pointed that out, and put it through where the screw was just threaded through, and that'll hit the back of this plate. And you can simply push up. And there's your magnets, 8 magnets. They all stayed where they're supposed to stay. But the first time I did that, the stickiness of this adhesive, it's not adhesive, the stickiness of this rubber made an adhesive type of contact between this plate and the magnets. And when it came apart, some of the magnets pulled up, and then all hell broke loose. The magnets all flew together. I'm lucky I didn't break any. I've broken so many magnets doing that. But once you get rid of these, like you just saw, it'll pop right off, no problem. And you don't need to get in here. I don't think you're going to want to try to modify anything. You could put thinner magnets in possibly, but then it would be much weaker. I don't think that would be worthwhile. The whole purpose behind this was for them to, number one, to make assembly and manufacturing easier, and they don't have to use glue. And number two, now they can market and sell different plates. So that is the idea behind that. And I did not align that up very well. This is a very tight edge around here. I was uncertain as to whether they changed their design since I'd seen the video, because it is so close. But then if you want to, then you can just put the screw back in. We'll go ahead and do that. Why not? It's a little bit harder to... I always preach that thing where you turn counterclockwise a few times and listen for that click, and then you'll know you're in the thread, and you can start to go forward or clockwise. But with these damn flat-headed screws, it's hard to do that. Anyhow, be careful, because once you cross-thread something, you've pretty much ruined it. So I'm just snugging that down, and that's all you need to do. So that is assembly and disassembly. We'll talk about the parts here and what I think may or may not go wrong with it down the road. So initially, I got myself fooled into thinking that this middle piece might be made out of something other than metal. But eventually I got another piece of metal here and kind of tapped at it, and I think, well, that feels like metal, and then I scratched at it a little bit, and it's definitely metal. But I was concerned because I did see a post where someone had an issue. This edge right here, I don't know if that's cosmetic or if it's solid. If this middle piece is all solid or not. This could be a cosmetic attachment, and then the rest is solid. And then it just has a different finish, a polished finish on the outside, and a sanded finish here, or not a sanded, but like a blasted finish on the inside. That might have a little bit to do with friction reduction. That would be my only concern. I don't know if that's a loose piece there or not. If it did fall, it looked like it would be an easy fix if it did come loose. And again, for $60, that's not a bad deal. And you can do the USB trick with it too. I think that just about wraps it up. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And as usual, thank you for watching. Bye.